LinkedIn audience. So this is not normally how we start our lives, but this is the great thing about going live is, as we were explaining, as soon as we hit live, it said, hey, we lost connection to LinkedIn. That's part of the fun part of going live. So
Yeah.
here's what happened. We did a pre-test before we went live to make sure everything was working. Everything worked streamlessly. It was great until we had to hit actually going live. Then it lost connection. So we had to actually go, and we're using StreamYard. That's the platform that we're using. And I had to go in and remove it from LinkedIn and then add LinkedIn again to get that to connect. So I know LinkedIn's a new feature of the live, so there's just some bugs there, and that's what happens. So hopefully, if you guys are watching on LinkedIn, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments, where are you watching from? Like, where are you joining us from? And with that, I am going to repeat a little bit of what Olivia said earlier about the KillerB office hours, because again, I know we have a university joining us from LinkedIn, and I want to make sure you guys understand what our office hours are about. This is a time that once a month, me and Olivia come together, and we call it office hours because that's the way we kind of approach it. We come in, we talk about the latest digital buzz, and we highlight a topic that some of our clients have asked about and talked about. I see Josh is from Facebook, so thanks for tuning in, Josh. And we kind of take it as an approach like we're just sitting here. You're going to see me drinking out of my water. You're going to see me here looking through notes and stuff because this is like our office meeting, an hour we've set aside to kind of come together and invite you guys to come sit with us if you're eating lunch, whatever you're doing, and join us. So with that, hopefully everything's working on LinkedIn. I'm going to go ahead and put a question out there for everybody. Let us know how many of you are doing live videos right now. How many of you are actually doing live videos? And if you are doing live videos, what platforms are you using? Are you using Facebook? Are you doing live videos on TikTok, on Instagram, on LinkedIn? Are you doing them on YouTube? What platforms are you using for your live streams? And because what we're going to talk about today, I am going to check one more time on LinkedIn because I really am like, when you start doing these lives, you're like, oh man, I hope it's actually working. I am checking my profile real quick just to make sure we're good. And it looks like, yes, we are. Okay, cool. All right. I will not check anymore. Just want to make sure everybody's able to view. Okay, cool. Yeah, I see Facebook, Instagram, Facebook most of the time. All right, that's great. What we're going to talk about today during these KillerB office hours, we're going to talk about 5 reasons why you should be doing Facebook Lives or any kind of live broadcast, not Facebook. Man, it's changed so much, hasn't it, Olivia? It used to
Yeah.
always be Facebook Live, but
Facebook. Yeah.
there's so many platforms now that you can go live on. So, and as we talked about in our earlier KillerB office hours, if you guys haven't seen those, we talked about figuring out which platforms you should be on. So you don't have to go live on all of them. Choose the right platforms, but you can watch those on our YouTube channel. We're also going to talk about. We're going to give you 7 live tips that you can use before you go live to help you prepare and hopefully have the best live experience you possibly can. But always remember, just like our live broadcast here, things can go wrong, uh, and you gotta figure out how to just flow with it and run with it when those things do happen. I play music, and my son plays music, and one of the things I'm working with him is teaching him that as a musician, what makes you a really good musician is figuring out how to recover from a mess up. Like when you hit the wrong key, how do you recover from that? Do you make weird faces like, oh my gosh, something's going on? Like, or does it just feel natural? You have to be able to recover from those situations. So there's a live tip for you. Don't get overwhelmed and stressed about it. I just handed it to Olivia, and I'm sure she probably had some sweat drops coming off of her head when I did that. But look, it all worked out. So, but first, before we dive into those topics, we want to give you some insight about the latest digital buzz. So I'm going to hand it over to Olivia and let Olivia share with you guys about the recent digital buzz.
Yeah. So I don't know. I want to ask all of you if you've gotten on Instagram this week and noticed that you have access to not to create, but you have access to different Instagram feeds. Let us know in the comments if you've seen that this week. So the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, had made this announcement. I don't even know how long ago at this point. Things change so often. But with Meta, they make an announcement you have no idea when it's actually going to roll out. So he made this announcement. We knew it was coming. And then voila, this week, everyone has access to it. So, what you have access to is an algorithm free chronological feed. If you go to so one note is this is only available on mobile. So if you use Instagram on desktop, you're not going to have access to it. But if you click on the little Instagram in the left hand corner, you'll see a little drop down arrow and it has two options. One is favorites and one is following. So your favorites feed, you have the opportunity to add up to 50 accounts that you absolutely love. And these accounts are, you want to make sure that you see their content. You don't want to miss out on it. So you created this feed that works. There's no algorithm to it. It's in chronological order, so newest posts are at the top. So I don't know if you've already seen Brian, or maybe others have, but I'm already seeing businesses and creators saying, "Add me to your favorites." But what I would say to that is, if you're going to ask someone to add you to your favorites, you better be giving them really good content, because just as easy as you can be added to a favorites, you can be removed. And by that point, you've kind of lost trust with them. So, something to think about if you're asking to be added to the favorites feed. The other feed is called the following feed. So this is literally every account that you follow, but there's no algorithm. It's just chronological order, which this is how it used to be in the beginning of Instagram. So it's just going back old school. But a couple caveats: you cannot set either one as a default. So
Oh,
every time you go to Instagram, you have to click on that particular feed. If not, the feed is just going to be the normal algorithm feed that Instagram has been using. So
gotcha. So do you think that they're going to bring that feature out where we're going to be able to set that as a default, or do you think they'll keep it?
no, I think so. Basically, again, there was like a big Senate hearing that Adam Mosseri had to attend and all of that. So this was kind of like their easy fix of like, we want to use an algorithm because we think that's the best way
Gotcha.
for users. Yeah, so they're like, you can go ahead and customize your feed if you want to, but it's
It's
not
like
going to be the default. But
throwing the
also,
dog a bone. Is that basically what they're doing? Throwing a dog a
yeah,
bone? Like, here you go, here you go.
exactly.
You can now you can do it, but it's not
Yeah.
that not that
But the last thing I'll
user
say
friendly.
about it is, Instagram feeds are not the highest engaged, tool to be using on Instagram. They talk about it all the time. Personally, as a user, it's all stories and reels. So, is this going to make a huge difference? I don't know, but just, there's the
Yeah.
information.
I think if people have to go in and change it all the time, they're just gonna stop doing it. They're just
Yeah.
gonna,
Well, how are you going to remember to do that every
yeah,
time either?
exactly.
So,
Yeah. So, and let you guys know, like I was on my phone just kind of messaging people, make sure they knew to look at LinkedIn differently. So, because I'm like, I don't want them to not know we're live. So we're good. We see people jumping on. So thank you guys. Thank you everybody that's joining, and if you're watching the replay. All right. So I've got some digital buzz to share with you guys real quick, and then we're gonna jump into the main topic. So if you joined us last month on our KillerB office hours, we talked about which are the best digital platforms to be on today. And it was for you to be on. Which one's aligned with you best? And me and Olivia sat down and talked a lot about KillerB and our direction and things we're doing. And one of the things that we decided was that YouTube really wasn't a platform we need to be on. Okay, I lied. We're on YouTube, people. We're on YouTube
you
right now.
do.
And let me explain to you why, because it really wasn't a lie, but I want to give you a little bit of insight of why this decision was made after that video. We have and we can put a link up to let you know how you can get to the YouTube channel. It is, you can just go to KillerB, just the letter B.tv, and it'll take you right to that channel for right now, and you can click subscribe. On that YouTube channel, what we're doing, we were actually already in the process for the last 5-6 months creating video on demand episodes for all the people that we serve in Christian radio, to be able to come in and watch tutorials on how to use YouTube, how to do all these different things, and in our Killer B thoughts, talking about our strategy and some of those ideas of ways to look at things. We were going to make that a subscription base. And the thing is that what we've learned here at Killer B is that our hearts are about serving. And we always say if we believe that if we serve first, we won't have to sell anything. People want to do work with us. And that God has shown us that that is 100% true. So after that session, after talking to our videographer and everything, I decided, you know what? We're not charging for this. We're putting the videos out. So they're going to start dropping the first week of April, and we'll be dropping a new video episode every week. And then plus you're going to have our live webinars here will be live on YouTube as well. And you'll be able to watch the replays, but check out YouTube. That's the way. Our videographer, we have a video coach. His name is John Owens. John Owens is also going to be recording. He's recorded a bunch of videos talking about YouTube. So if you're a station or a ministry or a business that is thinking about jumping on the YouTube platform, how can you use that? Subscribe, because we have some amazing videos coming from, I call him the John Owens, because if you want to check out some of John Owens's work, you can check out the link that's on the video here at kbm.today/Frame Voyager. If you look up Frame Voyager on YouTube, you're going to find some amazing, amazing footage from him. He would be on here today, but he's coming here. We're in Central Florida, and he's traveling to Central Florida because we're recording a commercial this weekend. So he is one of our video coaches, and he is just amazing at what he does. He has a lot of experience and knowledge. So you're going to see videos come from him. You're going to have videos of me sharing Killer B thoughts, doing videos like this, other tutorials, stuff like that. So just go subscribe. We're going to have other guests join us too. So yes, we are going to be on YouTube. It wasn't that I lied. I just decided, you know what? Let's be a blessing to others out there that maybe can't, that are just looking for some help. And I want to, and if we have any clients that's listening, like, hey, wait a minute, you guys are our digital consultants. Don't worry, because there are certain videos that only you are going to have access to because you are one of our digital consultants. So you'll have unique videos just specifically for you. Okay, with that, we're through the digital buzz. Let's talk about our main topic. Our main topic today, we're going to touch on this. We're going to talk about 5 reasons to do live videos. I mean, why should you even do live videos? So with that, the first one that I would like to point out is your reach. And I would love for Olivia, do you want to add some input behind how the live videos affects the reach across all these different platforms?
Yeah. So Facebook, or Meta, they're still all about people using Facebook Live platforms. So even just going live on Facebook automatically gives you a boost with Facebook's algorithm. But also there is a statistic. I don't remember the exact number, but over 80% of all businesses have a Facebook account, right? But the number of those businesses that are going live is very, very small. I think it's seriously like less than 5%. So when you think about all these businesses competing in the algorithm, well, there's not a lot of space being taken up when it comes to live videos. So that's why it's so important for you to make that a part of your strategy.
Yeah, and that's across the board. It's not just Facebook. There's not a lot of people that's hitting live on YouTube, on LinkedIn. If you're a business owner and you're in here watching, understand that LinkedIn, you have to actually apply for that license to be able to that feature to be able to go live. I think it took us about 4 or 5 months before we were actually approved to do what we're doing right now on LinkedIn. But we have a lot of people that, for our Killer B office hours, that have been trying to subscribe on the LinkedIn events, and they have to go to Zoom and set up like that, where if you get the live permission, they can click it, and as soon as you go live, they get notifications, unless there's a bug like there was today. So, but that's the way it works. So, but the thing is, not a lot of people are doing it. So it helps you stand out, and they do give you, all these platforms are they want more people to use this feature, so they're going to give you more of a reach. They're going to push that video out. So that's reason number 1 of why you should be doing live videos. Put that in your strategy. Number 2 is relationship building. So think of this. Think of a static image post on any of these platforms, and think about how different differently you can connect with people when they actually see you. Like they actually feel like they're talking to you. That's what live video does. And it's different from pre-recorded video, because pre-recorded video you can't have like live interaction either, which is another thing that we're going to cover here. Another one of that's the third reason is live interaction. The other thing great about live video is you hear everybody fumbling around their words, and you're like, you know what? Maybe they're not so perfect. It kind of brings you down to everybody else's not everybody doesn't bring you down to everybody else's levels. Let me rephrase that. What it does is when we see people on social media, you normally see people's highlights, and people
Mhm.
can make themselves look really good. Not that they mean to always. Sometimes just people think, I wish I could do what they're doing right now. Some people are probably looking at us thinking, wow, they make it so easy to go live. Trust me, we were on here 15 minutes or 30 minutes prior to this one, testing and trying to, praying, trying to build each other up to get ready to hit that live button. It's not easy for us either, but people don't see that as much. But when you go live, it brings more of that human side to it. And you're like, wow, these are real humans. I can really connect with them. The real-time interaction, what I love about that is we can have conversations just like you guys are in the chats right now. We see the chats coming in, and we see that, some people are saying like, yeah, YouTube is a great resource. That is great to see that as well. Uh, so that real-time interaction is so important. It gives you an opportunity to have that real one-on-one conversation. Do you have anything you want to add to the real-time interaction, Olivia? Any thoughts you want to add to that?
I think, it kind of gives people access to you, and, they enjoy your station, they enjoy, whoever it may be. And it's kind of cool that you set aside some time, especially for them, that they can reach out to you and get a response right then from you. It makes that, I think it just makes it extra special versus just responding to a pre-produced video or something like
Yes.
that. So,
Definitely, and again, the pre-recorded videos that you put out and record, they don't get as much reach. So keep that in mind. Like it is different. I am going to ask a question, and I know you guys, if you guys want to answer it now, that's great. We'll come back and look at the comments, or comment later. That's fine if you're watching a replay. I would like to know how many of you actually feel awkward when it comes time to sitting in front of a camera. Do you feel a little awkward when it comes to that moment? I know I do, and we were talking about that before we even got on here. My camera likes to overheat sometimes, and I always kind of play a cruel trick on Olivia that, oh no, I think my camera's overheating, and I turn my camera off. I'm like, oh no, I think something's going wrong, Olivia. It's gone. You're gonna have to do this live video all by yourself. But it does feel awkward because like you're staring at this camera. So yeah, I can see answers coming in. Yes, they feel awkward. Okay, here's a cool thing. We are going to our first episode that drops on YouTube in the first week of April is going to be a revisit of an interview I did of Brant Hansen talking about his transition into sitting in front of the camera compared to sitting behind a mic like this. So that'll be the first episode dropping in the first week of April. So we're going to talk about that. But we get it. Like you're not alone in that. Now, someone did just write, not anymore. We actually go Facebook Live in the studio often. It makes the listener feel a part of what's going on, especially during fundraising. That's a great idea.
yeah.
And if you're not, I mean, come up with a strategy for using Facebook Live for your fundraising strategies is a great tool, which is going to lead us to another one of our why you should do Facebook Live. So thank you guys for sharing that. If you're on Facebook, there's a little link in the description. If you click that to allow StreamYard to see your face, your privacy, then we'll be able to actually see your name and your picture on the comments when we highlight them. So just a little tip there. All right, so let us know. Yeah, keep answering that in a comment if you want. Again, first video in April, we'll kind of touch on that a little bit. All right, another reason to do live videos is the cost. It's cost effective. Now, what I mean by that is we're a marketing company, and our big thing is most of what we do is digital consulting and coaching to help teach you how to approach these platforms. We're not out there trying to do everything for you. If you were a business or radio station and you needed to hire, like you just wanted to get a video out there, the way it used to be is you had to pay a video company to come in, you had to do all the pre-recordings, pay them to do all the editing. There's still a level of that, but with live video, what it does is it helps you to be able to just hit live and broadcast your message, whatever if you're at an event, you can broadcast it to and reach more people because it's live and it's very cost effective. You don't have to have the best equipment. You can do it from your cell phone, and you just have to have a plan that you're going to follow, so you're not just kind of fumbling around and going or the original like like what, like I don't know what to say. Little tip: we always say, like, if you're saying a lot, you probably should have already wrapped this thing up. So it's very cost effective. So don't let it hold you back that you don't have the best equipment. It's very affordable for you to broadcast your message out there by hitting live. Last in the 5 reasons to do live, and we already kind of touched on this a little bit during the fundraiser comment, is that when you do live video, you can have call to actions. You can tell your audience what you want them to do. I mean, like earlier when we were telling you to check out our YouTube channel, we had a link on the lower thirds. On a lot of these platforms, if you do a link in your description, if you just post an image post, and you have a link, they bring down your reach because you're trying to send traffic outside of that platform. The great thing about live videos is you can tell people what you want them to do. They can go back and watch and see, like, that was a link, I need to go there. Or you want to tell people to download something, you can tell them to download it, text this number, get this, whatever. You can give call to actions, which is ultimately what we usually go live. We have some kind of call to action that we want our audience to do because we want to continue to help you and guide you. That's harder to do when you're off camera because of the way the algorithms work. Did you have anything you wanted to add in regards to that, Olivia?
No, I think you covered all the good call to action topics.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, with that, if you guys have any questions, make sure you put them in the comments. We're going to go ahead and transition over. Do you see any comments right now, Olivia, that we should
Yeah,
touch
I
on?
see this. I'm going to pull this one up and read it. So,
Okay.
this Facebook user said, I do Facebook Live a couple times a week to grab people who are fans of our station, who are online, and invite them to actually turn on their radio or smart speaker. I do a short devotional thought to grab them and give them some more content, then explain how we'll talk a lot more about this on the radio. Tune in right
Mm.
now. That
Ooh,
is a phenomenal idea. That's that good, also like appointment setting, listening, and all of those things. So it's using social while you're on air product all together, which is, the best
that's
thing
it.
that you can do.
I don't know who that was, but Facebook user, like, good job. Like,
Yeah, good
that's
job, Faith.
awesome. Like,
I would recommend to anyone watching right now, like screenshot that real quick and use that idea. So that was
yeah,
great. Thank you.
yeah, very good information. Like, I love how that person was talking about how they're pointing them to their primary goal. Like, we look at social media, all these platforms have micro goals. If you've tuned in before, you know what we're talking about. Micro goals are the little goals they want you to do, like, get more likes, get more shares, get more comments, stuff like that. Your macro goal is what you want your audience to ultimately do. You want them to come to your website, you want them to listen to you online, you want them to download your app. Those are harder to do, but it's a lot easier through the live videos. And there's a lot of stations that and clients that do like live prayer devotion, like prayer time together live. Like, how personal is that to be able to do a live prayer time together where the audience is actually writing? Another way that you can do that, and especially during a fundraiser, here's a little tip. If you have a prayer thing and you're doing a live video and you do that weekly, people are used to it. When it comes to a fundraiser, you could easily just go live on your normal prayer time and say, hey, this week, we would like to ask you guys to join us in praying for us for this fundraiser. Invite them then, but make it part of what your normal routine is doing that live prayer time. So, okay, I see. Haha, Scott. So that name must have been, yep. Hi, Facebook user. Now we have Jess Hart. So we're starting to see people's names come in now. That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, click that little link in the description. It'll give you guys permission so we can see your face. All right. With that, let's go ahead and let's talk about. It's 12:30. We still got about 30 minutes. Let's talk about the 7 tips for going live, Olivia.
Yes. So, the number one first thing we're going to talk about is doing research on popular topics. So, you never want to go live where, again, you're like, I want to go live. What am I going to talk about? I don't know. Don't go live if you don't know what you're going to talk about, number one. But number two, research topics that you're making sure people are going to engage with, that's going to enrich their lives, that they're going to care about. So, Brian, in
Mm.
particular, I used to be guilty when I worked at a radio station of doing these kinds of Facebook lives now. But as, just a viewer, I'm kind of like, okay, the sounds of people slurping and eating food and
You don't
all
like
of
that?
that.
You
Yeah,
don't like that
no.
slurp?
So
Oh man.
the trying out food Facebook lives, what are your thoughts on those, Brian?
Well, today I actually wanted to talk about this new chapstick that I was trying out. I think it's wonderful. It's really good. It's the best. It's actually fits our brand because it's called Burt's Bees. No,
There
people
you
aren't
go.
interested. You guys are watching right now, going, "Wait a minute, why is he talking about chapstick now? This is not what this is supposed to be about. I'm wasting my time." That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't align with who you are and what your Facebook said it's going, or live broadcast, I keep saying Facebook. If I say Facebook broadcast, just know it's live broadcast across the board. If you go too far off topic, like they're not tuned in for that. They're going to tune out. Uh, it's we talk about in previous office hours, we've talked about the difference between the different digital properties. You have your
Mhm.
leased properties, which is your social media. You have your permission based, which means you give them permission. They give you permission to contact them, to give them notifications, and you have your owned, the digital assets you own, like your website, stuff like that. The thing is, if people are clicking to come and watch that video, that is a permission based. So if you want them to keep coming back, you have to keep delivering what you promised. But if they come and know every time you're going to start sipping on a drink, or you're just coming here eating about food, like it doesn't add value to what they're looking for. Know your audience. If you're a fast food restaurant or a restaurant, that's your audience. Yeah, go show them the latest meal,
Yeah.
the latest burger, whatever you have that
Yeah.
fits you. But if that's not your purpose, stay away from it.
Yeah.
Just stay away from
And
it.
I get the thought behind it. It's funny when these are like extreme foods, but just don't make it, a constant part. Like that's the biggest chunk of your strategy. And also, if you wouldn't open your mic and do a break where you're just sitting there chewing and slurping and trying different food, then don't do it on a live video. So yeah, there is that. But also, going back to research on popular topics, Brian, do you have any tools that we can let people know about to kind of know what the best topics to talk about are?
Yeah, and I know I see some questions coming in too. Olivia, if you can just kind of make a note of some of these. Um, we will be covering some more questions at the end too, if we don't get to them right now. So if we kind of just keep an eye on that, because I see some good questions popping in. So if you're trying to find popular topics, a couple of tools that, and we'll have these in our YouTube videos later on too, to kind of give you guys some more insight if you want to learn more about them once those videos start dropping. A couple of tools that I would recommend that we like to use is I do like to use Keywords Everywhere. It's a good tool. It gives you some ideas like on the average search volume and stuff. You can also use one of my favorites is a tool called Answer the Public. That is a wonderful tool, especially if you can do the paid version. It does amazing stuff, and they have training videos to teach you how to use it on there. But that is an amazing tool to help you find relative topic, relatable topics, or no, relevant. That's the word I'm looking for. Relevant topics, um, and if here's the thing, if you're like, well, I don't have that, I can't pay for that, go to Google, start typing in Google, like where you're like how to, or how to deal with anger. Like start typing in like questions, think like a question. And those little suggested topics that pop up, those are relevant topics. Those are topics that people are searching right now. So be thinking that way. You've got to create those is how you got to find that content that people are looking for right now. So relevant topics. So we'll do some more videos to kind of cover that in a deeper conversation, but those are some options for you. With that, Libby, do you have a question we should go to right now, or should we go to the next tip first?
Yeah, we can go through the next tip.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Next tip is creating an outline. So Olivia, talk a little bit about that.
Creating an outline. Yeah. So this is super important again because you want to make sure that you know what you're doing when you go live. You want to have a flow to it. You don't want to be fumbling around. I actually have right there, we're following an outline right now. And no detail is too small to have on there, your resources, if you have to give details about an event or something like that, having those ready and easy accessible are super easy to have, and they can help, make your lives a lot more concise and smooth. So,
Yeah, outlines help a lot. And actually, even right before this live broadcast, it's awesome. Like my son, he's turning 18 this year, and he's becoming more involved with KillerB, and he's really excited about video. So he's doing a lot of stuff. And I asked him right before this, like, hey, you know what? I could really use your help handling the back end, making sure all the lower thirds pop up and stuff like that. So we right before live went through this outline and added little bullet points so he knew when to throw up the shouldn't use the word throw up. He should put up the the lower thirds, and like I just say what I think out loud. So that's part of the wonderful thing about watching me live. You never know what's going to come out of my mouth. It'll always
it
be
better be
clean
on
though.
that outline.
It better be on that outline. That's right. That's awesome. But don't be ashamed to have an outline. And I like to have it just. Some people script it all the way out, and some people like the little highlights. I like the highlights, so I just kind of look at the bullet parts and then I just go with it because I know where to go. All right, next, let's talk about planning for engagement.
Yeah.
Olivia, how do we do that?
Engagement. We are all about engagement just in general, but specifically when it comes to Facebook Live videos, you want to, make sure that you have someone there that can help you moderate comments, whether that's typing them out as people are, typing them and you're responding to them right then, or maybe you're letting a DJ or business person know, like, hey, shout out to this person or whatever it may be. You just want to make sure that you're not going live and planning not to engage with any of, the comments and things that are coming through during the live.
Yeah, and that's really going to be probably our next step is like, we like to engage with the comments when we're talking. And we're using the StreamYard service right now, which we're trying to get used to the comments coming on. It's a little bit different than seeing I don't know if we're seeing everything that's happening from all the platforms. If
Yeah.
you're on LinkedIn or YouTube and you're commenting and we're not responding, my apologies because we're not seeing those right now. But we know there's people on there watching. So you're testing out new things. But our next step would be to have somebody actually typing responses back to those people. And if your team is big enough to do that, you should definitely have people do that as well, because it does help with your reach as well. The more
Mhm.
engagement you have happening, and you're having conversations within those conversations, those platforms will give you more reach because of that.
Yeah.
Uh, so engagement is so important. Um,
Yeah,
and
it makes, the listeners feel special and heard and gives them a reason to watch your live videos.
yes.
Um, so the
So
next thing we're oh, go ahead.
I do want to bring up this question real quick. I see that somebody said, do you recommend any free or cheap skins, templates we can use to dress up our Facebook Live? And basically, any resources to put up graphics or titles, or simply dress up the look of the Facebook Live. And this is Scott. So I think this might be Scott Harold, I believe, uh, from SOS Radio. I believe that's who this is. So, Scott, I do like the StreamYard ability. Like, I like this tool. You can do a lot of different things in here, like with highlighting.
If
You can do your
yeah.
brand color. You can actually do your logo and stuff too. Like, we don't really put our logo, but you can put the logo up. Now there's a B right beside Olivia's head. So that's cool. You can create your lower thirds on Photoshop and stuff like that and drop it and have it as an overlay on top of this. So, and this goes to this Facebook Live. So right now, if I took me and Olivia off, I could actually switch the background here, and I'm going to take us off the screen right now to show you guys what this looks like. Let's see, Olivia's off, and All right. So you saw a little bit there, like you can have different backgrounds and stuff like that as well. So if you're looking for a platform that can do that, this is probably a nice platform to do. But um, Olivia, do you have any ideas? Like I think even on the Creative Studio, you can do some of that stuff now too on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, even before I've been using StreamYard for a while, and they can constantly improve and make things easier. So this would be my number one recommendation for
And
sure.
I don't know if I think we mentioned this during the last webinar, but I will just let you guys know. Some of you, we just did an interview, a podcast interview with Joshua and Micah. It was an hour and 20-minute long interview, and we were testing out the service Riverside.fm because we had heard a lot of great stuff about it, and maybe it was just a bug for me. But my videographer, our video coach, he warned me. He said, "Be very careful using that for what you're doing because there can be caching issues." And I was like, "Well, we'll just give it a try." Well, I did that video. Everything went great. After we hit end, his video stopped uploading at 28%, and we lost all that footage. We even lost the good audio. So we have like a combined audio clip that we'll be able to edit, but it's not going to sound like our normal quality. So that's why we went back to StreamYard. I was like, wow, we're going back to StreamYard when we do these live streams because it's been a trusted platform that we've used, and it's worked great. So hopefully that helps you out some, Scott. All right, let's go ahead and go back to our 7 tips. The next one we have is look at the camera. Olivia, you were looking to the left just a second ago. How are we supposed
I
to talk about these tips if you're looking around?
I'm looking at my outline. So what, and again, we're not trying to make anyone feel bad if you're doing this, what we're about to talk about. This
Yeah,
isn't, to scold you or say you're doing this wrong. This is just tips that we're trying to give you to help you improve your live videos. So what we mean by look at the camera is if you have a camera set up in your studio where you just have, you know, you can only see the DJs from the side and you go live that way, we would recommend not doing that because it doesn't give that personal live feel. To me personally, that just looks like you're checking a task off on your to-do list. Oh, got to go live today. Let's just throw up this camera that checks that off versus actually, using live what it's meant for, which is relationship building, talking to your listeners,
that's
and
good.
all of that. So, what are your
So,
thoughts with that,
yeah, I would
Brian?
like to give an example. So, can you kind of turn to the side like you're looking at me, Olivia? Can you
Like,
turn to the side like
well,
no,
this would
other side?
be,
That's looking.
uh,
Now you're looking away from me. You gotta be looking. Okay, so now we're having. Okay, I got to look this way. Okay, so now me and Olivia are looking at each other, having a conversation, and you might be able to kind of feel how awkward that feels for people watching live. Uh, it doesn't feel like they're part of the conversation. Some of the people that we've worked with, what we've helped encourage and help them see is like set your cameras up in ways like this, where even in a studio they can be on their mics talking and looking at each other, but the camera's in front of them. So the viewers are getting the feel that they're sitting in the room with them, not looking in a window just to watch. You want them to feel like you're talking to them. That's part of the reason, like for our YouTube channel, we're setting up like my whole platform here has been set up where I want people to feel like they're sitting on the other side of my desk and I'm talking to them one on one. So that's why we did this setup. So, experiment with it, do different things, but try to set it up in a way that it feels like your audience feels that you're talking to them. And it makes the engagement more real. And you're like, hey, let us know in the comments right here. What are you thinking? Have you guys let us know in the comments? Have you guys thought of video this way? About the importance of having the camera set up in a way that you guys feel like we're talking to you. Doesn't it feel more natural, like you're actually part of the conversation? Let us know that in the comments. And I feel like that helps the audience want to comment as well. Now nobody's going to comment; it's going to be crickets. No, I'm just joking. But you guys see
you
my
just
point.
feel closer as
You do,
well.
yeah,
A lot of times when you're just going live with those side views, it just feels so far away. So,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, look at the camera, and if it does feel unnatural, this is a little tip that we give in the next YouTube video. Is actually, you know what? I'm not going to give it to you. You have to wait till the first week of April to find out. All right, let's
Look at
go
that.
to see. That's like a little like Cliffhanger, right? That wasn't even planned. Wasn't even on my outline. All right. Test your equipment. This is this is number 5 of the 7. So we have 2 more after this. So number 5 is test your equipment. Now, I can kind of cover this one, I guess. Why not? Because we did that before we went live and everything went successful. And then when we still hit live, it's still something happened on LinkedIn. It messed up. So Olivia, explain, like when you wrote this out about testing your equipment, what does that mean to you? What should people be thinking about?
So, what I mean by that is, if you're using a phone, make sure it's charged. Make sure. So, even something as simple as, I wear glasses and contacts. My glasses, when they're all foggy, I can't see as well. So, think about the camera on your phone. Like,
Mm,
did you wipe that lens? Same with your actual video camera. Simple things like that can make a huge difference of like, testing your Wi-Fi connection or all
yeah.
of those things. Going live is scary enough. So taking one element out of testing your equipment before you go live is huge. Your mics, are you having mics on your people in the video? Just all those different
Good.
things. Small things, they make a huge difference.
So let me tell you the great thing about StreamYard, man, we need to get like an affiliate link for StreamYard or something. We talk about this platform a lot. The sponsor of this show, no,
Yeah.
it's not StreamYard. We have no sponsors of this show yet. No,
But if you want to be, give
the
us a call.
yeah, give us a call. No, the great thing about StreamYard, what I like is every time we have a live broadcast set, you can come into the broadcasting studio with any guests that are joining you, and you can do a test on the broadcast back inside before you actually go live. So we test our mics. We tested 2 different mics for Olivia before we went live to see which one sounded best. And then we can check the cameras, make sure the camera's working. You can check your audio level. So there's a lot of cool things you can do there. We recommend, even before going live, if you're on a computer, plug into the Ethernet. Like, don't do Wi-Fi, plug in. So the little things like that can help you. Another tip on preparing, doing tests, turn off your notifications. If you're doing it on a cell phone, turn off those notifications, because we've all been there. I've been in it plenty of times where my computer is ding, ding, ding. And I'm like, no, everybody's deciding to text me, or emails are coming in like crazy. Something must be wrong. And I'm in the middle of a Zoom meeting. So, turn those notifications off. That'll help you stay focused as well. Okay. We're midway through. We have 2 more tips we're going to get to. Before we do that, we want to let you guys know, we're going to just invite you to sign up for our email list. If you go to KillerBmarketing.com, we are doing these webinars once a month, and we have an email blast. We have free blogs that go out every month. Not every month, every week we're highlighting new blogs, just giving more tips on different platforms, digital platforms. And we'll also give you updates on upcoming webinars, YouTube videos that's being released, podcast episodes. So if you just go to KillerBmarketing.com, right when you go to the webpage, right at the very top, there's a spot where you can just put in your name, your email, sign up. And look, we're not going to spam you. We're not going to try to sell a bunch of stuff to you. Really, our email is just a way to help serve you and keep you aware of the new blogs coming out and how we can just help you. So feel free to sign up for the email blast. One more thing that we're going to just tell you about before we go into the last 2 tips is, if you're thinking like, hey, this is great. Yeah, I want to do more live broadcasts, but just coming up with the ideas, that's a whole other level as well. Well, we have these things called the Killer Social Media Content Ideas. We already have stations that are using this, and some people that's not in stations. There's some churches using it too, like organizations using it as well, and businesses. So if you go to this link, what you can do is, what this is it's a beautiful design PDF. It's really nice quality. And it's going to have, 12 post content ideas.
12,
So it's going to
yeah.
give you, this is going to help take that pressure off of you, help give you guys some ideas. So first, it's going to cover 5 hot topics from Facebook and Instagram from the previous year, according to their reports. Plus, it's going to include some hashtags to be considering. Then it's going to give you 12 post content ideas. It's going to give you how many stories? 5 story
5
ideas.
stories.
5 story creative content ideas that you could do. It's going to give you 2 short form video ideas, and it's going to give you a live broadcast idea. You get this every month, and you get it 2 months in advance. And I didn't even mention, now it sounds like an info commercial. Plus, you also get every one of these PDFs that go out once a month has a bonus section in it. Some of it will cover fundraising, some of it will cover holidays that's coming up. So you even get more content ideas based around that bonus content. Those go out every month. But if you go to that website and take a screenshot, take a picture, whatever you want, check it out. There's a video on there where you'll learn more about it. There is a coupon code right now. It's still active. You put that coupon code in there, you will get, it's usually $39.99 a month for all this content ideas. Right now, you'll get, if you use that coupon code that's on that page, you'll get $10 off every month for the first 12 months. So it's only $29.99. So if it helps take some pressure off of you and helps save you some more time so you can keep going, we have stations that are using it not just for social, but for creating events and everything, right, Olivia? Like I know you've
Yeah.
heard some
It
stations
can
sharing
also
that.
help
So
with DJ prep or show
DJ
prep, I
Prep
mean.
too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
check it out. Go subscribe, and you'll get them once a month. So, and again, you get them 2 months in advance. So that way you have plenty of time to decide and plan and create that content. All right. That's all I have for the wrap up. Let's go ahead and go back to the tips on going live. The next one that you have is stop and restart.
Yes. So what I mean by that is, okay, say you start your live and you have some technical difficulties. Maybe the screen goes black or you can't see the comments or whatever it may be. If Don't be afraid to say like, "Hey, we're having some technical difficulties. We'll be right back." End the live. You may lose, a couple live viewers, but keep in mind that people are watching this on a replay as well. So you want to have the best quality of video possible. So don't be afraid to say, like I said, having some technical difficulties. We're going to stop this and restart in a minute. So,
Yeah. And that's the place that we were getting to at the beginning of this episode was
yeah.
I knew like people were watching on LinkedIn. And I'm like, man, this is the first time, and there's people waiting.
Yeah.
I don't know if the notification went out, but I'm like, if I cannot get this connected, we're gonna have to reboot and start again. But thankfully, that's not what happened. We were able to keep going. We just kind of handed off and did a troubleshooting real quick. So don't be afraid to stop and restart. The last one that you have on here, and I think you have a bonus too. I'm just reminding you because it came up during our conversation beforehand.
Yes.
So hang in there, and we're gonna do some Q&A. Is don't wait.
Don't wait.
Don't wait.
Brian, as soon as you hit that live button, start talking. When Facebook Live first came out, people would wait around and say, okay, I'm just going to wait till a couple more people join on. Let me take a sip of my coffee, do this or that. That's an old school way of thinking. If you wouldn't do that again on a microphone while people are listening in their cars, don't do it on a live video.
Yeah.
Also, what you're saying to the people that have joined you right away, you're not important enough to me. I need to wait until I get a certain amount of people. Then this will be worth it. But,
That's good.
one person, you can make, a special connection and all of that. So don't wait around. Once you hit live, start your video.
Yeah, and a little tip there for you is, at the beginning of this video, we have a countdown because these videos are scheduled, so people know they're waiting. They've signed up to get notifications. So we have a countdown that starts, and the reason why we do that, people, if you're joining, you're like, man, why is there a 30-second countdown? Here's the reason why. Do you know that if you just hit live on a Facebook live, I know this is this way on the Facebook platform, it can take up to 30 seconds for people to know you're live. So that's why that countdown is there. Now, if you're not scheduling that live video, when you hit live, it's not scheduled. You're just like, hey, we're going live. So you hit live. Now you're live. Don't just sit there and wait for people to get in the room. And another thing to think of, that first 30 seconds, that's the perfect time to say, hey, thank you for joining us. If you're watching a replay, thank you for watching. Because guess what? The people that's going to be watching live aren't even going to see that unless they go back to watch replay, because it's going to take about 30 seconds for that to go out. So say that, thank those people that are watching a replay within that first 30 seconds. It helps them feel a part of it too. So that's just another little tip for you. So Olivia, I know you have a bonus tip that it came up as we were talking, and then we're going to get into some Q&A if anybody has any questions. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask, feel free to put those in the chat right now before we wrap up. and we'll do our best to give you an answer and point you in a direction that will be helpful to you. Olivia, what's the bonus tip that we had?
Bonus tip might seem like common sense, but can definitely be forgotten. You have to let people know you're going live ahead of time. You can't just assume that people, are know about it. So
Yeah.
that's where, again, I would recommend stories. Those are huge for that time sensitive content. You could even, do it 3 days leading up, and then 2 days, and then 1 day, and then just that's the great thing about the timeliness of stories. You can do something like that. So yeah, don't forget to let people know.
Yeah, and think about all the connections you have with your listeners or your audience, all the different things. If you have a website, there's so many ways to send notifications out, emails, all you can really think about all those. Think about those permission-based tools, right? Those permission-based properties that you're having people sign up for. Think about those tools in a way to broadcast out and let people know we're going live today. Think about that. So, okay, so a little bit, we have some time for some Q&A. I don't know if you have any questions in there right now or comments that you want to highlight, and we'll give everybody a second. Do you see anything in there right now that we want to put up on the screen? If not, we're going to get ready to wrap it up here in a second. And I want to say thank you guys all for joining us. Hopefully, it worked out on all the platforms. If you didn't see it live, you can check it out on KillerBeMarketing.com later. We'll have the webinar replay on there, and it'll also be on our YouTube channel. So, Libby, did you
Yeah,
have anything?
we don't have any questions as of
Cool.
right now.
Awesome. Well, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Our next webinar is going to be in April. That's our next webinar will be in April, and we're hoping that you guys join us again then. We always kind of come up with a topic later. I do see some questions coming in, so
Yes.
let's hold on just a second before we jump off and just let you guys know, like, our mission is to help you guys do digital with purpose and making it personal depending on what your mission is, like personal to your mission and to your followers. Uh, and we want you to feel like, we hope these webinars are a way to show you that you don't have to do this alone. We're here to help you at Killer B. So, Olivia, what's the question that just came in?
So we have a question from Maddie. She asks, do you have different going live strategies for the different platforms?
Hold on, who's it from? From
It's from
Brian?
Brian, but
Okay.
from Maddie.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was confused.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, is this the okay? Do you have okay? Can you read that again? I'm sorry, I was confused
Do
there.
you have different going live strategies for the different platforms?
That's a good question, Olivia. What's your thoughts on that?
I would say that a majority of the tips that we gave today work across all platforms because they're basically like being prepared, testing your equipment, starting as soon as you hit live, having good content. Those sorts of things work on any platforms
That's
that you
good.
live on.
I agree. I think that, when it comes to like the different platforms, like I think every platform has to have a different approach. Like when it comes to like your digital strategies, like when you're posting content. But if your live broadcast should always be geared around your audience and that their need, how you're serving them should be the same. Like the ultimate, your purpose, your why, their problems you're trying to help them solve should tie together on all those platforms. Um, you so I think that would probably I agree with your response there. But I totally get her question. That's a really good question, Maddie, because we teach people that your strategy and the way you post content on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, your strategy is going to be a little bit different there because of the audience. But when it comes to live video, I think it's pretty safe to say, yeah, as long as your outline aligns to serve along with your purpose and serve your people, I think it'll work. So, do we have any other questions? And so we've got 4 more minutes, so you guys are welcome to put any more questions in the chat. I was going to say, Olivia, there is I'll let everybody know just in case any more questions come in. That just a heads up, if you guys are like, well, hey, this is great, I would love to know this outline thing that they're doing again. Go to Killer B Marketing. You can go to the blog section and you can do a search for Facebook. I think it's just tips, like live
Yeah,
tips or
tips.
something, going
Yeah.
live. You're going to find a blog in there that kind of lists some of this stuff that we talked about today too. So if you're wanting to kind of recap, go check it out, and you can find out some more information there as well. Um, So I don't see any other questions coming in. So I hope everybody enjoyed today's broadcast. Thank you all for joining us. Again, remember to check out the YouTube channel KillerB, just the letter B.tv. Click subscribe, and we're gonna have episodes coming in. Our official episodes will start dropping in April. You'll see the webinars in there already. I think there's 2 in there right now, but they'll be dropping once a week. So if you're wanting to learn more about YouTube, all these other platforms, and some strategies, come subscribe. Jess, you are so welcome. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, everybody that joined. I hope you guys have an awesome week. And hey, keep doing what you're doing. People need you to be you. So don't be ashamed of it. Go ahead and be you, and let's serve people and help people that are in need of help on these digital platforms.